Internet. Welcome to 2.5 Brains. This is our weekly discussion about the Amazing Race, talking about the most recent episode, breaking it all down here and talking about what happened, what went well, what went wrong, and everything in between, from the starting point to the pit stop and everything in between. So before we get started, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Get all the updates as soon as they happen, so you don't have to wait for them. We're recording right after the episode tonight just because it was the only time that really worked. And we have some great stuff to go over with you guys. Really excited about it. You can tweet me at YoGrabAGabba. You can email the show at pavementproductions@gmail.com and find us on Facebook, facebook.com/pavementproductions. We'll break down the episode, have a good time here today, and I'm really excited to talk about this fun episode. There's a lot of drama to talk about, and glad you decided to join us for this week's show. As always, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host. She is the definitely better half and more of the two brains and the 2.5 part. Let's go ahead and bring in Jessica Tarasek. Welcome to the show.
Hello. No.
Making fun of me?
It's not my greeting. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Man, taking up the shot. Go Bills. Bills football. Nobody circles wagons better.
Mm-hmm.
You dead?
Nope. I'm letting you do your thing. So go Bill, sure. So let's go ahead and talk about this episode here. Obviously we're recording after the show. Mm-hmm. We weren't sure when we were gonna be able to do it. We have so much going on here. Closing on the house, getting ready to move, all that fun stuff. So
not really fun.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. It's
some stuff.
Yes.
So we're kind of getting ready to. So we kind of had to just get out here real quick today. Miss B back couldn't join us, just scheduling reasons. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But right now we just had to kind of. We had a little time to record today, so we had to kind of exactly squeeze it in and fly through it. So real quick, what are your initial thoughts on the episode as we get started?
I enjoyed it. It was kind of, to me, obvious who was going to be picked to do the U-turns and everything. You knew who was going to be targeted. I knew who I would have targeted. I loved it. My winner pick is kind of getting back up in there, so I'm a little happy for that. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting because the tables have turned so much on who was leader of the pack in the beginning versus who's leader of the pack now. So it's anybody's game.
Certainly is.
Except for Rachel and Melissa's.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay.
Well, she did break the record for most legs completed in the Amazing Race, so good for her. That is one thing that we kind of give her credit for. At least she did that. So it was her last leg on the Amazing Race, but it was the record-breaking leg, so she won't add to her own record now.
True.
But she did go ahead and break that record, so good on her.
Yeah.
Also, before we get too far down the road here, what's your Twitter handle?
JustT820.
Cool. So you can tweet Jess and give her your thoughts. So let's talk about the U-turn here. Obviously, it was a big part of the episode. The U-turn, the U-turn vote. First time ever a vote. It was right out in the open. You couldn't hide. You couldn't say, "Oh, I didn't vote for you. I didn't vote for you." It was right out in the open, and came down to Colin and Chrissy got the most votes, and it was a three-way tie between everybody else, between Team Fun, Afghanimals, and Rachel and Alyssa, and also Nick and Vic.
Mm-hmm.
So they all each got a vote, and it came down to Brett and Chris deciding who was the second one to got the second most votes, and therefore would be U-turned as well. And they went with Rachel and Alyssa.
Yeah, they went with their hearts instead of the skill set of the other teams.
Yes.
Honestly, though, why not?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get the pain in the butt people out of the way.
Yeah, Rachel and Alyssa, I was more happy about it, and a couple things.
No,
I think Brett and Chris. Sometimes you have to keep the teams who will work with you. It's just, and they're a Survivor team, so that's why they did it. Teams who are willing to help you, teams who are willing to work with you in the future. And Rachel and Alyssa just never really showed them.
Well, right, they weren't kind of willing to work with them. I mean, they pulled the Afghanimals aside to talk to them as they were just, Chris and Brett were just standing there.
Right.
So obviously there was a little bit of a dig there against them.
Yeah,
So
and the way I said it too, sometimes it's best to take out the biggest threat and the team who's going to win.
right.
Sometimes it's best to take out the team who's going to beat you and keep you and eliminate you. So there's all kinds of strategy, right, with the detours. So all times teams either take out the biggest threat, try to knock them out of the race. Sometimes they take out the teams who are down and like Nick and Vic, or sometimes they take out the ones who might be the one who finishes second last and therefore you're last. So that might be a good move in that case. So there's really no right or wrong team to U-turn. In this case, they went for the team that was definitely annoying, and it may have been more of a heart than a head move, but
honestly,
it worked out for them.
I mean, if you have to pick the strongest team versus the non-strongest team, I mean, between them, or like Chris and Brett and Rachel and Alyssa, those were the two weakest teams. Everybody else is pretty strong. So anybody you would have voted for at that point were, a good pick. Like Tyler and Corey would have been a better pick than Colin Christie to me. They got their first place this week, so
sure.
They're a pretty strong team too. That would have been a better move to U-turn, I think.
Sure, and it's also too, a lot of times U-turns are wasted because you U-turn somebody who ends up being competing, and knocking on both legs anyways.
Right.
Whereas if you U-turn somebody who's weaker, you're going to have a better chance of that U-turn actually knocking them out.
Right.
So in this case, that's exactly what happened. Let's go ahead though and talk next about the detour decision.
The detour between the cow and the sickle thing.
Yes. No. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I get confused very little
Between
after the show.
that and the roadblock.
Yes, every time.
The detour. Some teams had to do both.
Right.
But
I mean, better pick was definitely the stacking of the hay and whatever. It's not called a sickle, but that just kind of reminds me of versus the cows, because let's be honest, everybody knows with the elephants, animals are stubborn. They're gonna do what they want to do. You're just going to stand there, unless you have been around these animals, and especially livestock. You don't want to pick that. But
and even still,
I mean, Nick and Vic are the only ones that outright picked it, and they did fine. So it worked out for them. But I don't think it was the better decision.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I always say do the manual labor one because this is in your hands.
Unless you don't have the stamina and strength, though. Some people wouldn't. It'd be a lot harder. Like Rachel and Alyssa, they had to do it. Otherwise, they definitely wouldn't have done that one.
And they're definitely, the dressing up and all that stuff is definitely more up their alley for sure.
Right.
But I said, I think the average team, if you pick an average team, any team out of a hat, the odds are the best fit for them is going to be the physically demanding one, just because it's up to them.
Right.
There's no skill, there's no luck, there's no
it's very straightforward.
It's just straightforward.
This is what you're doing. Yeah.
Do this, and you're good. So that's definitely what I would have picked. And most teams did pick down if you give them the choice.
Right.
Two teams had to do both, and then obviously Nick and Vic picked the dressing up the cow one, and putting lipstick on a pig, whatever you want to call it.
Kind of, yeah.
And
dressing up livestock.
There you go.
Different kind.
So even Nick and Vic, they had a little issue with the cow at one point, getting it to move, getting it to do what it needed to do. So
did they though? I don't think they ever showed them
having an issue. A little bit, very little,
very slightly. But Colin and Christy had the worst time with it. Rachel and Alyssa did have a bad time with it until she starts bending his tail. We're really gonna hurt the livestock to go whatever. Be nice to the cow. The cow will move.
If I'm gonna say to that. But the biggest thing for me too was, I mean, everyone had a little bit of trouble with it, but Colin Christie decided he had flashbacks to when last time he had dealt the cow.
Right. He had a steer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
He was not happy.
No.
He was cursing up a storm.
Yeah. I know. I think tonight was the first time I ever see they blurted him out swearing.
Yeah.
Never heard him swear. So.
He said they blurted him out twice actually.
Yeah.
And then he said this is.
Yeah.
Bull blank.
Bull poopies.
Yes. Yes. Bull $sign hit.
Yes.
And then but then they picked the right cow, I guess, because she felt the vibe from the cow, and
she didn't pick the right cow.
They did anyways.
No.
Maybe that would have been worse, but yeah.
I mean, not to get into it. I mean, animals feel stress and everything, so that probably doesn't help with any of the races. Sure. But we're not gonna go into that.
We'll leave it right there.
I'm the crazy animal lover, so yeah.
What is I didn't know this one on here. What was the roadblock?
The roadblock on here. I don't remember.
That was the shooting the crossbow.
Oh, right. Oh my god, that was so hard for me to watch.
As someone who has shot a crossbow.
Yeah.
Someone who knows a thing or two about.
Right. I mean, just kind of, it's similar to shooting a gun, though, too. So if you shot a gun, you kind of know, too, like a rifle, you know, you gotta, placement's everything. And if you don't have your head in the right place to look through the scope to see where you're shooting, you're never gonna get it. How freaking Rachel, I don't even know. They don't even, whatever. Rachel got it. Is beyond luck. Me. Like, it was, yeah, pure luck. But it was so frustrating to watch that. But that, I mean, it's hard. Not everybody knows how to do that.
Her first episode of The Amazing Race, Becca shot a fish with a fish statue with a bow and arrow, an actual bow and arrow, old school bow and arrow, and did a great job. This one she didn't do nearly as well.
Yeah, it's completely different than shooting a bow and arrow.
For sure.
Yeah.
The only real thing you can say is anything in motion will eventually curve downward. Right,
and especially with extra weight, those little bullets, whatever you want to call them, they were really, weird. It doesn't weigh as much as an arrow. It weighs a lot more than arrow. Arrows are, dynamic, like the aerodynamic, you want to call them? Aerodynamic.
Yeah.
So they're lightweight. So it's different, but she struggled with that a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of teams did, but it's one of the things. You aim a little bit above it, and it'll come down. Right.
I mean, while you're doing it, if you know what you've done each time, you should be able to know how to correct it to keep it going.
Right.
If you know this is where I shot it before, then shoot a different place next time. It's going to go somewhere else.
It's really that simple. I mean,
it really is.
Little corrections here and there.
Yeah, it shouldn't have taken that long.
So many teams though, they'll say, "Well, I missed it by this much. I have to really overcorrect." And it's like I listened to a video about golf. When you hit the ball, you quarter of an inch in one direction, it changes the entire trajectory of where the ball is going.
Right.
And if you track it from right off the tee, it looks very little. But then, as you get closer to the freeway or the fairway, I should say, or freeway in my case.
Freeway.
In my case, when I hit way over there, exactly.
Ah, crap.
Yeah.
You just broke a window.
Exactly. But when you pick it up as you get closer to the fairway, it's very much the angle is a lot different, right? So that one little tweak doesn't seem like much, but it changes everything.
Right.
And that's the same thing with shooting. So it was a cool challenge though. I mean, I liked seeing that.
Awesome,
and a good leg, both Brett being a gun guy, being a cop, he knocked out right away. Right. And Brett and Chris, it was the manual labor task to wrap the rally, and they did a good job there too. So
yeah, they were minutes away from getting first.
They made one bad decision, and Brett being not in the greatest of shape. It's cost them.
Yeah,
but we'll get back to that in a few minutes. Yes. But for now, it was. The roadblock was cool. I liked it. I thought it was really neat. And it was at one point. There were 6 teams there.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, because I think Brett and Chris got out right before everybody else. But at one point, I think there were 6 teams there competing, and it was a matter of who's gonna get it first.
Well, it'd be 5, wouldn't it? Because now we're down to.
Down the final 6 now, but
okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, it would have been 5 teams.
5, whatever it was. Yeah. So. And then it was things like we said that was head to head though, right? A couple weeks ago. The teams who you have to practice more seem to get it quicker. So it was kind of how in the order you got there. I mean, unless you were really crushing it.
Yeah.
The order you got there did kind of determine the order you left.
Almost, because I'm pretty sure Brett and Chris got there after Team Fun.
I think so.
And Team Fun, it took them,
a while.
She wasn't correcting it as much, so it took them a little longer. But besides that, everybody that got there kind of went in the order that they got there.
And Colin might have got before one person, but
Colin got it before Team Fun too.
Yeah. So it was like that, but it was for the most part it was pretty much
when you got there is when it happened. But
you got the chance to practice, and more practice you got, the better you did.
Right.
Sweet. So that was the roadblock. Any other thoughts on the roadblock?
No, I liked it. That was cool. It was like old-fashioned kind of crossbows. It was awesome.
It was neat. It was super neat. Let's go ahead and talk about one of our favorite segments on the show, Why Blank Lost. In this case, Why Rachel and Alyssa Lost.
Why?
So, why?
Isn't it obvious?
Because Amazing Race is supposed to be fun and good, that's why.
Fun and good, not for her.
Amazing Race is supposed to be fun and good.
You do that too well. It's really scary.
I've seen her say it like 27 times.
It doesn't matter. You do the voice very well.
I do lots of voices very well.
You do, Sebastian. I mean, where to start? Why did they lose? made enemies with everybody last week. Keep your mouth shut. Honestly, I mean, yes, you make alliances and stuff. You want to help these people. You also want to win. So if you knew they were going to get detoured, or U-turned, U-turned, they should have just kept their mouth shut. Because there wasn't a U-turn anyway, so it wouldn't have happened. But, just everything was just so dramatic. All overly dramatic. And I don't really think they were strong at, one certain task. Everything was a struggle.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean,
There's a lot of dumb luck stuff when they would win things.
sure.
That's how I feel like it was dumb luck that they were to get in front of other people.
A couple times, yeah, the teams messed up and they just kind of stayed steady.
Luck. I don't know. People getting lost too. It's happened a lot this season. I don't think I remember it happening that much last season, but there's a lot of people getting super lost.
It's very true. Definitely a thing. I think a lot of the drama came from Rachel.
Oh, all of it came from Rachel.
Alyssa did some, but it was mostly Rachel.
Oh, it was all I could tolerate Alyssa a little bit more than Rachel. Everything for Rachel was just complete dramatics right away.
So, why did they lose? I mean, it doesn't take rocket scientists to see why. They isolated a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. They got U-turned because having a social game doesn't usually have much of an impact. Being social, being nice and friendly, but in this case, they were their connections actually hurt them in this case because they were aligned with the Big Brother teams, right? And then they also Rachel has the Amazing Race connections, so they didn't have Survivor connections, so they didn't talk to the Survivor team. But they had alliance with the Big Brother teams, and they had alliance with the Amazing Race teams, and those teams were going at it, and they were in the middle. So they had to pick a side, and in doing so, they really kind of isolated both sides of that. When they promised this one team we're gonna do this, and then betrayed them and told the team that they're targeting, and it got both sides fighting against each other, and eventually they're like, well, wait, why are we fighting? Because of them, and that caused a big thing for them. They got U-turned because they weren't liked by anybody, and they didn't have the strength to overcome it. They were in the back of the pack for most of the season, and if you have them do a U-turn, have them do 2 challenges, or the teams are only trying to do 1, that's a lot. So why they lose? It wasn't what they did this week. It was accumulation.
The season.
Correct.
Yeah.
All the entire season, culmination of all the drama, all the fighting, all the stuff they caused, eventually catching up to them in a big way, and they weren't a strong enough team to overcome it, and in my opinion, that's why Rachel and us lost.
I mean, they kept complaining when they got picked for the U-turn vote that, you're supposed to pick the stronger teams because you keep the weaker teams with you because you can beat them. But honestly, getting rid of the drama, I think, is going to make the game so much better for everybody. I think it's going to make it a lot, I guess, funner, yeah, but a lot easier, I think, with just having less of the drama out there like that. Everybody that's on now, they don't fight amongst each other. Everybody's just like, you all jab each other once in a while, but nobody has, ill will against anybody else. Everybody's good with each other. So honestly, I think it's going to be a lot more fun to watch without them.
Well, I love the train wrecks too. So
I'm over drama.
I would have been happy to see them maybe for another week or two, but not expensive by my teams I liked.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd have only one team I would be happy to see go next, and other than that, everybody else would be happy to see win. I really have nobody I'm really rooting against except for maybe one team, and you guys probably know who that is. Yes. But other than that, I mean,
they're great.
Sure. So I guess it is what it is. Rachel broke the record. It's good for her. But it's just they were not a strong team this time. They didn't work well together. They were way too much drama from them. And who is to say what the right answer is to who to I want to vote out this team. Well, why? Because that's what I want.
Right.
Why does it matter?
Right.
It's not anybody. Nobody has the right to say who you can and can't vote for to U-turn. Each team has their own strategy, and and them saying, "Well, that was dumb to pick us." That it kind of proves their point.
It really does.
They're telling, "Hey, you should play the game this way because that's how we want you to play it." Well,
Right.
that's kind of
That's
the
your
point.
narrative, but not everybody else's.
And that's kind of why they voted for you. Is that
And like
attitude?
their reasoning though is more of a survivor reasoning, which is not how this game is played. You're in control of your own destiny with this entire game for the most part. So, strategy is not social game in here.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree. So I think that's a big part of it. I think the reason Rachel and Alyssa lost is because it's their attitude. You can tell that argument during the vote is a microcosm of their whole season.
Right.
And I think that's what cost them.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, totally agree. Totally agree.
All right, cool. So let's go Queet.
Queet.
Great.
Great and cool.
And cool. Queet. Hashtag Queet. Let's
Moving on.
talk about our last section of the show, the power rankings. Yes. So, you can take over. What? Who is number 6?
Chris and Brett.
Yeah. They had a really good leg this week, though.
I mean, they've been doing great for the past couple episodes. They're not last. They were second this week. So
they were almost first.
They were almost first. Mistake. They were almost first. They've been improving every single week because I think the challenges have turned more into their wheelhouses. But it's not going to stay that way forever.
Making better decisions, except for the one at the end.
Right.
The only thing is, right, they had a lead on Tyler and Corey, but they made the decision to try to take the train as opposed to take
to go on foot.
To go on foot.
Brett's out of shape. Chris is in better shape, but he's still not in the best of shape either. I mean,
running wise, he's a tank that can. But he's not amazing fast.
Right.
Either
way, they would have gotten passed by Tyler and Corey.
Most likely.
I think it would have been, obviously the better choice to just go on foot because you can't trust trains. I think they felt like it was just going to be there waiting for them. But it didn't specify it was a train either, though. It just said on foot or on track or something.
Something like that, yeah. They did say that they come at regular intervals, but what regular intervals could be every 3 hours.
It's another country. It's not here where everything's like every 15 minutes a bus is going to come kind of thing.
Exactly.
So
that was the only mistake they made, but that is kind of when you're not strong at certain things, you have to kind of overdo other things.
Right.
And that's kind of where they fell into this week. They they weren't going to be able to outrun the guys, so they had to make a decision to try to go for the train.
And they ended up running it anyways.
It ended up costing them because the train wasn't there for them. And then they were Tyler and Corey passed them on foot because they went right on foot. If the train was there, they win that leg easily. But the train wasn't there, and if they were fast and they didn't have to worry about trying to catch the train, they would have ran and been fine.
Right.
But it didn't happen that way because they aren't fast, so they had to take the chance on going for the train.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, and they finished second.
Even if the train was there, though, honestly, there's no guarantee they could have gotten there. You don't know how fast the train is going.
Could be multiple
Is it
stops.
stopping?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you're in another country that they take their time. I just random fact. I read an article today. They say people spend an hour and 13 minutes in America eating. It's we're the fastest eaters, in the world. Everybody else, they can. Somebody I think said maybe not Switzerland, but some other random country they eat for 2-hour meals.
Yeah.
So things are slower over there.
For sure.
But
it's a good point, and that's kind of where Brett and Chris have been. I can it's kind of been funny that I've said that there's gonna be 5 teams left at the end. Maybe one will get knocked out, but there's those 5 and Brett and Chris. Right. And Brett and Chris, if there's gonna be one Survivor team that lasts, if there's gonna be one team that isn't an all-star team last, Brett and Chris are a good team, but they're just I don't think they have enough. I think they're going to be gone next week, unfortunately. But
probably.
They've been doing well. I just don't know if they're
anything could happen. Every single week, everybody's rank is changed.
There's an upper echelon of teams, and then there's Brett and Chris. So they could have another great leg, But if you said pick the order, who's going to finish where, I would pick Brett and Chris to be last if I had put money on it. Anyways, it's a tough moment to pick, but it is what it is. Who's next? Who's number 5?
Afghanimals.
So, right, and we talked about this too. We said there's kind of 3 teams. No, so there's been the 5 teams, right? That have been the top of the pack really the whole time. There were really these 5 teams who are the 5 left, outside of Brett and Chris, were the 5 who were there the whole time, really. Top 5, some combination of those 5.
Right.
But it seems like the last couple weeks, there's been even a little bit more of a separation, where there's the top 3 teams, then the next 2, and then Brett and Chris.
Basically, I mean, Afghan will start at number 1 of the pack.
The one first legs?
Yeah, for the beginning of the show, and then they have gradually declined every single week. And been doing bad and making bad decisions, getting lost,
getting lost, having to backtrack. I said this.
Doing animal things.
Right. I said last week with B-Back, I said they are doing Leo and Jamal things. And why are Leo and Jamal struggling right now? Because they're doing Leo and Jamal things. And the legs are getting tougher. They're getting, and they're a good team. They've played the race twice. They've gone deep, both times. But I feel like they're starting to get to the point where it's like, they're gonna. There's not enough. You can run average legs for the first 4 or 5 legs because there's enough teams behind you that somebody else can get knocked out.
You don't have to exceed the first couple of weeks.
Right, and they did, but you don't have to. You don't have to crush it early on. Now you have to. Now you have to be good because there's not enough teams behind you.
Decisions, yeah. Right. Everybody's smart that's on now. Everybody's making good decisions. Please, everybody, learn from mistakes. Stop getting lost because that's what's catching a lot of people. Like, grab a map at the airport. Please learn from that. Like they said tonight, was it Colin and Christy and someone else? They had maps. Grab a map. Grab as many maps as you can because you can't have technology, so use a map.
Yeah, and it's really pretty simple stuff, and I just feel like Leo and Jamal, they're in a tough spot right now. Who knows? They could end up winning this whole thing, but right now I feel like they're kind of slipping more towards the back, and you don't have that wiggle room anymore. There's only 6 teams left. There's no more non-limbs. There might be a continuation leg maybe, but there's no more non-limbs. You gotta.
Right. So you're done.
There's no margin for error anymore.
Right.
Who's team 4?
Nick and Vic, my winner picks.
Yes, Nick and Vic.
They've slid down in the rankings a little bit. They went from getting second 3 times in a row to last week, and now they're 4th or 5th. Fifth tonight. Yeah. So they're still up there, but they also aren't making some of the best decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think they have made that bad of a decision.
The way I have it see it, they're doing better than Leo Jamal in a couple ways, but also Vic crushed the challenges this week. He did really well. He got to the tasks after some teams and then left still after them, but way closer than when he got there.
Right.
So they hit the elapsed time at the challenges was way lower.
Right.
Which is one thing to definitely look at with a team. That being said, I didn't think this would be the case, but when Nicole does the challenges, they don't do as well. I thought she'd be way better.
Yeah.
But
she's really even done that many. And honestly, though, with the one that she did with the silent disco, she got the first one, I believe. So it's kind of like dumb luck sometimes.
And there's certain things that she's really good at, but it's getting to the point now where he's doing more, she's going to have to start doing more.
Yeah. Anything kind of physical is going to be tougher for her, so she's, got to try and make up for it.
You've got it. That's why you've really got to, like, even if there's something that's not in your wheelhouse, you've got to do enough roadblocks earlier on so you're not getting stuck where now I have to do 4 of the last 5.
Right.
Because there's going to be
switching off. Yeah.
And when you have that margin, where there's other teams who are going to be dodos and you can, they'll screw up and you can stay ahead of them. That's you want to be able to use that margin of error in that spot. Now it's too late to do that. Now you can't do that.
Yep.
But again, she's been good. They both have been good. And I think they both
fighting.
Minimum fighting. They had a little bit today, but
get along pretty well.
Yeah, they had the argument today over who they should vote for, whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, I think they did fine. I think they're doing a good job as a team. Only the Big Brother team left, and we'll see. But
I'm voting for a Big Brother team.
Yeah, I know you hate the Big Brother teams.
I really do.
And
I love them though.
Yeah,
they're great.
So they've been doing well. I think the only thing I said too is one thing I do worry about them is that killer instinct. They kind of talk about next week with them getting cut in line, and they're like, "Oh, I'm mad at you." Okay, well, do something about it.
Right.
So I wonder if they have that. I think
can't always go by the edit. They could be being edited that way.
True.
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 having a hard time
I'm
tonight.
just making up words.
Correct and true.
Yeah, correct.
At least I
true.
know what you're trying to say.
Thank you.
Good true.
Good true. God bless you.
Yes. Anyways.
I just don't know if they have the killer instinct. Hopefully they do, but we'll see. I think they're just too nice. I don't think they have that other gear.
Right.
Who's number 3 though?
Number 3 is Team Fun,
Fun.
For them I don't see them being killers either though. I mean, yeah, they cut in line on them in the next episode that we saw in the preview, but they're not out for blood. They're Team Fun. They're too fun to be doing that. They have too much fun celebrating after they get through something, and that drives me insane. You're wasting time. Celebrate in the car.
Yeah.
I do like them, but damn it.
No, I agree. That's kind of why I see them a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them winning.
No, I don't
but
think so.
I do think that they have better odds than some teams because, like I said, I mean, they're none of those teams where like they have life experiences of 85-year-old people. You know what I mean? They've done so many things in their lives already. They have there are so many skills that they've acquired just by doing something once or twice that other people have never done before.
Right.
And so they do that. They don't ever argue. They never take the game too seriously.
Right.
So again, the team fun never wins. They're always they're fan favorite, people root for them, but they just flame out or whatever.
Eventually, you gotta stop having so much fun.
And
You
just
gotta
focus.
take it really seriously.
Absolutely.
It's Final 5 now or Final 6 now, so yeah, you gotta go hard.
So I think they have a shot, but the team fun just doesn't usually win because they're just too lackadaisical about things.
Yep.
But we'll see. And there's two, in my opinion, powerhouse teams left.
Yeah, I agree.
I think these are
These are the teams to beat.
Money on the 10 to 1 odds on one of these two teams winning it. I would bet dinner on one of these teams going to win.
Alright, game on.
We have plenty of witnesses. They've been back and forth. One has been number 1, the other has been number 1, the other has been number 2. It's been battle between these two teams for our top spot in power rankings really all season. But number 2 team of power ranking is
Colin and Christy.
I
mean, yeah, they're so. I love how zen they are. They really never argue either. This is the first time you really saw him get mad with the cow tonight. But, even after they got U-turn, they are like, obviously, just get through it. Just keep pushing through it. And I loved when, Alyssa, Rachel, whichever one of the Riley sisters wanted to read their card.
Oh, Rachel, yeah.
Rachel, to read their card to see how to do the sickle and the hay stacking thing. And she said, no, well, obviously not. That's a stupid question. You're trying to beat them. No, you're the last 2 people.
I would have been very disappointed if Christy would have let them beat the
Oh, I would have been so mad.
It would have been just idiotic. I mean,
they're not stupid.
Right. They're nice and they're chill, but
but they're not dumb.
That would have been stupid.
There's a difference between nice and being an idiot.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm glad they did that. They were they got U-turn. They still finished 3rd, 4th, and worst.
Not 4th, but yeah, I think it was 3rd.
I think it was 3rd
because they beat Team Fun.
They
were
Team
there
Fun.
Right there before Team Fun.
And Colin knocked out the shooting challenge. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things. I know they said it too. When Brody and Kurt were on, I think they're on Tyler and Corey's first season, and they were the team who was it's gonna be Tyler and Corey who wins, or it's gonna be Brody and Kurt who win, and it'd be neither.
Well, they were wrong.
But it was things where Kurt was doing all the challenges, and they're like, oh, a challenge that Kurt's good at, shocking, he was good at everything. And then it ended up being he did all the challenges and Brody had to do it and they couldn't do it. But
they say something tonight about that with Colin and Christy too.
They
made
point.
a comment of it too,
like,
that
oh,
everything. Oh, look, something else they're good at.
Colin,
right.
Oh
yeah, Colin's good at the grass, cutting the grass thing.
Or the shooting one, either
the
one.
The shooting one, yeah.
I think the shooting one.
I don't know, it was either
one.
Yeah.
Oh, a challenge that Colin's good at. Well, I think he's pretty much good at all the challenges. So
basically.
Yeah. So that was that was my point. It was a long way to go for it, but
we know you like to talk.
So, but that's I think they were U-turned and do 2 tasks and still finished 3rd. It just shows what a good team they are. If you told me that they're gonna win, if you told me that our number 1 team's gonna win, I would believe either one. I would I would find it hard to believe that anybody beats either one of these 2 teams. I would find. I mean, again, strange things happen. There've been some very fluky wins last few years. But geez, I gotta think it's gonna be one of these two teams. I can't imagine anybody else doing it.
Right, and our number one
And then we
team.
said the same thing about Rick Devens. Just kidding. So in the start,
Whatever.
So
moving on.
Who's our number one power ranking team?
Tyler and Corey.
Corey. Why them?
I mean, they finished first the last 3 episodes. They're doing great. For them too, they're kind of similar to Team Fun, but they take it a lot more seriously. They don't argue. They have a good time with it, but they're also like, well, I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna be last.
It's for me. Tyler and Corey are Team Fun with a little more
determination.
Vinegar. Yeah. They're Team Fun, but they have the sprinkle of seriousness that you need.
Right. I mean, you've been laughing at them too, so you've been enjoying them.
They're super entertaining team,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
The puns, the analogies, the quirks, the goofiness.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that the thing that held them back last season, the first season, was they were like goofy team. They were funny. But they're just hot messes who goofed around and didn't take it seriously. Now they're focused.
Mm-hmm.
They're still having a great time. They're still not taking it too seriously, but at the same time they know when to turn on, when to turn off. I think.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
like when they're last episode they're talking about that big hunky dude, whatever his name was, and they're Sebastian.
I think it was
Sebastian.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
When they were talking about Sebastian and how hunky he was, that was funny. That was in confessional. That was kind of little stuff here and there, whereas.
Even kind of during it though, they would joke, but they would still do it and be serious about it. But like the camera, they would like flash the camera and like wink or whatever. But they were still being serious about the entire thing.
Right, and I think that's really that was the only thing that held them back last time. So they got to be a little bit, giggly.
Mm-hmm.
And this time you haven't seen that Tyler Oakley, just 2 hour straight giggle fest. And he would giggle for the entire episode and he'd be like, what is this kid doing? Just stop, right? Which is fine, but it's not conducive to winning the race. Now they seem like they have like a little bit of maturity, a little bit of experience, and it's not even a lot. It's not even like they're leaps and bounds more serious than anybody else. It's just they had a little bit of just something that, they were so close last time, and it's like, all right, now we just gotta do a little bit more.
I mean, they win. They don't sit there and celebrate about it. Like, yeah, be happy about it. Celebrate after. Like, just keep going. They just keep moving.
Celebrate the pit stop.
Right. Just keep going. You don't have the luxury of time. You need to keep moving as fast as you can.
And what's crazy to me, too, is they got, a vote, whatever, but everybody's talking about what a big threat Colin and Christy are.
Right. They're bigger threats.
I think they're bigger.
I think they're a much bigger threat. I said that earlier tonight. I think they would have been a better pick because they are a bigger threat. I mean, they've been first 3 times. I don't even think the Afghanimals got first 3 times in a row. Or 3 times at all. No. They're the only ones that have gotten that many this season. So, I guess they're kind of undercover threats that people aren't really thinking about them. Who knows?
I don't know. It's crazy. Weird. In part of it, though, let's wrap up here. Part of it is, I think maybe that they are that goofy team people don't take them seriously. Like Colin and Christy are zen, they're chill, they're there. Mm-hmm. They're not in anybody's face, but you're like, okay, you can.
They're there.
They're there. Where these guys are just like, ah. But so you're like, oh, they're just Tyler and Corey. Yeah. But they're they're being goofy. You're not really focusing on them when it's like, oh, they're first again, right. and again.
Right.
And they had a lot of first place finishes in their first season, just not the last one that counted. But
yeah, right. Talk about this, but the only thing that matters is the final episode and who's first. That's all that matters.
So, again, power rankings really mean nothing because they're always the teams that come out of nowhere are the ones who win it. But at this point, there's really 4 to 5 teams I would say, yeah, they definitely have a good shot. And 4 or 5 teams I would feel good about winning. So we'll see. But it's been a fun season again.
Yeah.
Another real fun season. I haven't checked the ratings this season yet, but I'm guessing they're gonna be right around where they were last year. And keep them coming because for a while their Amazing Race got kind of stale. They were doing some really weird things. I liked the new thing they did again this season. A vote for U-turn. It was neat, and I think they keep it fresh.
Keep adding little things in there and there.
Don't change the whole game. You don't need to do
Don't do what Survivor's doing. Yeah.
Right. That this season at least. Don't go completely redoing the whole new game. But just little tweaks here and there, little things that try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, the head-to-heads are awesome. Do a couple more of those, and then they're gonna do a couple more.
That was actually cool.
I love it. U-turn vote was cool. It's just a little, not every week. It's because it's a different game, but little one-off things here and there, or a couple times a season, do something. I love it. I think they should keep coming.
Agreed. I agree. 100,000%. I agree.
100,000%. I agree. I agree. I'm gonna call it. I agree.
I agree. Anyways, different show, but
still a good show. So that's I think that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Any other thoughts?
No, I think that's it. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Really curious to see who's actually going to win it because it's kind of all over the place. Go Nick and Vic. Please pull this one out. But everybody's great that's left, so I would be happy with any of them.
For the most part. Yeah.
For the most part. Fine. For the most part.
Other than that, I think that's a good spot to end it, though.
Yeah.
Definitely subscribe so you get all the updates. We're going to try our best to record Wednesday or Thursday of next week, with probably starting to move in Tuesday. It's going to be kind of hard to see when we're going to
I think it's going to be a little rocky for a bit.
So we're not sure who's going to be on the show, when the show's going to be recording, when we're going to get out to you, any of those things, but just subscribe so you get all the updates. Email the show, paperproductions@gmail.com. Comment your comments on the show. We're looking to add some guests, as the time goes along here a little bit too. It's, and even, alumni of the show, perhaps. Something to look into. I have some thoughts on that. Other than that, you can tweet Jess at
Just T820.
Tweet me at YoGrabAGabba, and Facebook.com/HeroProductions, and HeroProductions@gmail.com are all our information, so you get it all out there. Subscribe though, because again, with everything going on, we're not sure when stuff's going to come out. So if you just subscribe, you'll get it sent to you directly instead of having to worry about having to find it and keep an eye out for it.
Right.
Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
I think that's it for me as well. Awesome. Well, I look forward to next week with you guys. And until then, safe travels.